Welcome back here at the Special Events Center on the UTEP campus in El Paso. John Neighbor along with Maria Barnes as we're watching the United States right now tied with Cuba 1-1 in games. They won the first game. Pretty exciting for the hometown crowd. Are they playing mentally tough in the second game as well?
I think they were. I mean, they had a few passing breakdowns, but if you look at the stats, it was a pretty even second game. I mean, I don't think they had as much fire as in the very start of the match, but they just made a few unforced errors, a couple of hitting errors, a couple of passing mistakes. But I don't think there's been a huge momentum shift by any means. I think the United States is still very much in control of this match.
Well, let's see if they're able to hold their own in game number 3 in this best-of-5 series. And a very happy audience here at the Special Events Center in El Paso, Texas, as the Americans so far playing the defending Olympic champions to a 1-1 tie in a best-of-5 series.
The junior club teams in the area, very excited to see this match.
They're watching some of the best volleyball in the world.
They really are.
And so are we. United States back on the original side of the net, the side they won their first game from. Back to serve, Bev Oden, the youngest of 3 Oden sisters to play on the U.S. national team. Sister Kim, Player of the Year in 1988.
How is it? 3 girls in the family, all 3 of them star in our U.S. national team. Genetics.
And it's a good U.S. national team. Oh, nice try, but Endicott unable to block that into territory. Side out opens this game number 3.
No score, service to Cuba.
It's those back sets that seem to work for the American team.
Yes,
nice,
they have been.
Nice attempt.
Oh, great touch.
Oh, and no one was there.
T. Williams is so quick.
Cuba 1-0.
Really did a nice job getting a touch on that play.
Cuba gets the first point of the game. Tara Cross Battle gets a lot of height, but unfortunately finds the ball bouncing back into her own court.
Ana Ibis Fernandez really gets up here. Look at that reach on the block by number 14.
And off the Cuban's fingertips, earns America the serve.
That's the game plan. Gotta attack high seam, and that's exactly what we saw there from Cross Battle. Wow.
And they say it found red. Side out again.
Fernandez really banged that ball.
Big hit, but the Americans block it nicely. Oden with the set, comes up. Beautiful heads-up play by Liley. Regains possession of the ball. Cuba leading 2-0.
Really well done by Liley. Really shows her quick reactions. Could her just turn here and block the ball.
And that one, a big hit by Bell, goes out. America gets on the board, serving 1-2.
One of the things you'll notice about the Cubans, they do not substitute. We have seen no substitutions from the Cubans tonight. We didn't see any in their last meeting. Part of that due to the fact that they do not have their whole team here, and they don't really have a bench here.
Down is the call, side out. You're right, if they don't have a bench, then if the Americans can focus on one player and weaken them, that might be a big opportunity.
The problem is the Cuban setters are so smart. When someone's not playing well, they just set away from her. I haven't really seen that.
Big block goes out of bounds.
The other thing is the Cubans run a 6-2 offense, so they always have 3 choices in the front row, so they're not as likely to bog down when one of the hitters isn't hitting well.
Less vulnerable.
Right.
Beautiful hit, but Cuba gets there and can't recover a second time. America now tied.
Really a nice play by Cross Battle. That approach from behind the 10-foot line. You saw Bev Oden there kind of laughing at her own set. Hey, it worked.
We'll take them any way you want to give them to us. Big wall for the United States, blocking nicely. Takes the lead, 3-2. Out of bounds is the call. America now doubling the Cuban total with 4.
4-2.
Nice block by Bev Oden. And again.
Wow.
Great volley, great rally. America comes out ahead and a big emotional push as they now lead 5-2 in game number 3. That was a 5-point run for the American team after trailing 2-0. Get the next 5 points. We'll be right back. And a very emotional American team retakes their position on the court as they lead 5-2 over the defending Olympic champions. Game number 3 after splitting the first 2. That's a big kill from virtually the middle of the court. 6 consecutive points for the U.S. team.
That was from behind the 10-foot line, and it was beautiful.
And the block a little bit behind the net, forcing a side out.
You noticed Liley was blocking in the middle there. She's such a versatile player that in certain rotations they can use her that way rather than have to switch her to the outside.
That's in the net. Are we seeing Cuba make tactical errors?
They're just making a lot of unforced errors. They're not playing smart right now. They're not executing well.
And the Americans, another service fault. Far too many for the U.S. team. It cost them game number 2, I'm sure. And that block forced out of bounds. Cuba gets their 3rd point. Serving 3-6.
One of the big differences you'll notice between the Cubans and the United States is that the Cubans are not finesse. They bang every ball. See very few dinks from the Cubans. Double hit.
Double hit the call. Side out, America serving again.
I'd say that call's a little overdue for the Cubans.
Really?
Yeah, we've seen, I think 3 that I thought should have been called. 1 blatant.
T. Williams, you might have noticed, did not serve her traditional fast and low shot.
Probably trying to keep it in.
Right. Beautiful hit by Bev Oden. And they get their 7th point on the board.
Part of the game plan against the Cubans is to attack the line, and you saw Bev Oden, the 1-foot takeoff there. Nice job of finding the line.
And there's somewhat of a finesse shot that worked against the Americans.
Side out, Cuba.
Costa just does a nice job of kind of delaying here, using the inside of the U.S. block.
Out is the call.
Point Cuba, 4-7.
It's one huge improvement in Elena Oden's game is that she can now hit the ball pretty consistently from behind the 10-foot line. Not that time, though.
Beautiful hit by Oden. Goes down between the Cuban and the net. Side out.
7 serving 4.
7-4. America leads. Now it's 8-4. Bev Oden with a big smile on her face.
It's a nice float serve.
Big bang.
Ball control breakdown for the Cubans.
2 quick points for the American team. And that block out of bounds, side out the call.
Block was just wide, but the United States did a nice job of getting a triple block up outside.
A substitution.
Oh.
So Cuba pulling out O'Farrell. Grace O'Farrell comes out.
And Talsmares Aguero comes into the game.
They're going to give it to him. United States getting the side out. First point following the substitution, and we may see it's certainly a big tactical change for the Cuban squad.
Aguero is the backup setter for the Cubans.
United States team, of course, the bronze medalists at the Olympics in Barcelona. Looking to become golden in Atlanta as host country, have automatically earned their berth in the Olympic tournament.
Little higher and that would have gone down.
The big T. America led 10-4 against the Cubans in game number 3 in Albuquerque, and yet they were unable to win that third game. We'll take a short break. Action continues. Stay with us. And the United States on a roll today in game number 3, and they will be competing around the country for the rest of the time between now and the Olympics.
That's right. In June, they'll be at the BCV Cup in Switzerland, then on to the Olympics in Atlanta, and the World Grand Prix in August and September. And then a big tour with Brazil at home. Not nearly as much international travel as we saw from the United States team in 1995.
United States leading with some beautiful plays. And Sky T knocks another one down.
The difference right now between these two teams, the United States is hitting smart. The Brazilians are banging away, but they're not hitting smart. The United States is really doing a good job picking apart the Cubans' defense.
There's a dink we don't see often.
No.
3 American players on their knees.
Me, huh?
I guess they overheard. Side out.
Beautiful finesse play here by Fernandez, and the nice thing about it was that she disguised it. You thought she was going up to bang the ball.
Like a little head fake, little deke. Knock them off their feet. Sky T off fingertips once again.
That's what I mean. She's not going to try to bury the ball. She's just hitting smart. She's hitting high offhand. She's hitting seam. She's turning the ball.
There's a big hit, and it goes out. United States up 12-4. As many points as they earned in any game in their first match against Cuba. United States leisurely walking back to the bench as Cuba calls for a timeout. One of the big offensive powers of the American team this week has been T. Williams, yet in Albuquerque she kept seeing the Cuban defense knock some of her best shots back over that. We asked her what it feels like to see these powerful hits come back.
I think it's more discouraging for the hitters because of the fact that you think you're going to get a kill and then someone runs over and pops the ball up. So it's a little discouraging, but it just makes you have to use more of your line shots, cross-court shots, high off the hands, and make them run just a little farther.
Well, she doesn't know what it feels like tonight because she's doing a good job of using the Cuban block tonight.
Side out, Cuba.
Francia getting the ball down on American ground, gets the side out. Fernandez should have let that go, but no. That'll be a side out, America's favor. Substitutions coming on. Coach Liskevich very much into this game. Paula Weishoff coming in, NCAA title winner in 1980 for the USC Trojans. Played 9 seasons in Italy. Back to serve. And that one goes out of bounds. Oh, fingertip the call. Fingertip the call, side out.
4 serving 12.
Gatto. And once again, finding those defenders' fingertips to knock it out of bounds.
Lena Oden has been hot from behind the 10-foot line, and they're setting smart on the transition. They know they can't get a perfect setup to the net. They're just popping the ball up there and letting her bang away.
Coming in for the United States, Kristen Klein, a 26-year-old out of Pacific Palisades, 4 times an All-American at Stanford. T. Williams goes out, side out the call. And now Williams coming back in again.
She's had a great night. 13 kills in this match so far. 5 of those this game.
So with a quick substitution back and forth like that, was it for the coach to talk to the player or something?
No,
or just to
Kristen Klein's a great passer. Probably putting her in there to get her to pass the ball. Plus, you got to remember, Liskevich is feeling things out right now, so he's looking to see how she handles that.
There's the T off the fingertips. Wasn't T. That was the silent assassin. That was cross battle to get the control back again after 6 side outs. America serving, looking for their 13th point as they own a 8-point lead over the defending Olympic champions.
Cross battle, such a polished hitter.
And that's an ace, folks. Down on turf, and look at her smile.
13-4.
Bev Oden has a beautiful smile. She should do it more.
And a quick reaction. Fernandez getting up again for the side out. Fernandez has been very impressive at the net.
Yeah, she really has.
Seems like she's bouncing like a pogo stick, always out.
She's a very quick, big middle.
Little confusion on the American side. Elena Oden putting it back at him.
And that's the great penetration you can see from Elena Oden. Look at her just get up and over the net.
She seems very big, very thick, and you can't push it through her. It's like an offensive lineman.
Exactly. Very strong.
And Americans serving it into the net one more time.
Second error.
Side out.
America just 2 points away from a second game win here. Now Cuba making the service errors, side out. Cross battle.
Tara cross battle to serve.
What a recovery. Cuban defense and a big hit.
USA.
Elena Oden overpowering the Cubans to put the U.S. in a game point position.
What a gorgeous block to set this play up by Weishoff and Oden. They really had to wait on that, and then Oden comes in to finish the play.
That's it. Fernandez gets a big hit and pushes it out of bounds. United States take a lead in games once again. 2-1 in games over Cuba. The score today in this game number 3, 15-4. The Americans are smiling as they cross the court, preparing for a possible match win coming up as game number 4 begins after this short break.